So you heard about CDC shortening the time period for quarantine? Have you heard about that? So I'll read it. CDC has shortened the quarantine period for asymptomatic people with COVID from 10 to 5 days. They also shortened the period for close contacts of these individuals also. CDC says there's evidence that people with the coronavirus are most infectious in the 2 days before and 3 days after symptoms develop. The decision also was driven by a recent surge in COVID-19 cases propelled by the Omicron variant. Early research suggests Omicron may cause milder illnesses in earlier versions of the coronavirus, but the sheer number of people becoming infected and therefore having to isolate or quarantine threatens to crush the ability of hospitals, airlines, and other businesses to stay open, experts say. The CDC did not recommend rapid testing before people left isolation either. This is all after the 7-day moving average of COVID cases topped 267,000, which is a new record. Kids with COVID cases are also running rampant in New York City also.
Talk me through what you're seeing on the ground in terms of kids and COVID cases, especially as we see this surge due to Omicron.
Yeah, it's really been incredible that so many kids are now being affected by this virus. We felt relatively reassured that kids were safe. We're learning with this Omicron variant that kids are not. They're ending up in the hospital with this virus. And in particular, here in New York City, there's been a 4-fold increase in our cases in the hospital with children in the last 3 weeks statewide. So we're really seeing a huge increase in the number of kids who are ending up in the emergency room. And that's on top of kids.
So what are your thoughts on this? You see the cases are going up. They're lowering the quarantine time. So before it used to be 10 days for you. You would have to quarantine 10 days, then you come back to work or you come back to doing whatever you were doing. They lowered it to 5 as COVID cases are rising. What are your thoughts on this? You start with you, Johnny.
Seems like big businesses got into government and kind of convinced them to lower the quarantine rate because it doesn't make sense. Like New York has literally broken records in single days. New Jersey as well, so it doesn't make sense why you would. And this variant is more transmittable, yeah. So it doesn't make sense why you're decreasing the quarantine. At this point, the CDC is just telling everybody you on your own. Like,
so they just lowered the time frame for quarantine while cases are at a new high. Basically, they said if it takes 10 days, if you're telling all your workers it needs 10 days, and airlines are going to fall. Stores are going to crash because the rule is 10 days. It's business. Money took over.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get like unfortunately
I didn't
like
get that. That's not.
No, it's like if everyone quarantines for 10 days, the job infrastructure may fall.
And that's
too many people out. That's too many.
People, but
and they don't have money for the unemployment. No
exactly.
More. They're not trying to do that.
I understand. Again. This is people's lives we're talking about.
Yeah,
like, I understand.
This is the world. This is
money. Money
shit,
trumps all.
Money trumps lives.
Huh?
Money trumps lives.
Them doing this tells you.
Money is the root of all evil. When it comes down to money,
capitalism.
You
have to go back to work.
We gotta understand that. But they don't give a fuck about no damn kids.
Yo,
I don't say I agree with it.
Exactly.
I understand.
But I see how it happens. It's business.
But what is there to understand? Like, I feel like it's just greed. At what point do you cut the line and money doesn't matter and is about the greater interest of humans?
When coronavirus first hit, that's when they did it. They lost a lot of money. Now they're not trying to shut down and give everybody $600 again. They're not trying to do that. I know niggas, they fucked up so bad. Like my homegirl, she was working at the hospital, so she had to work. Her boyfriend lost his job, was getting $600 unemployment plus $600. He bought a new car while she's slaving at work. Something's not right.
And she's a nurse?
She was a nurse.